वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So continuing with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, ninth chapter, the most confidential knowledge, text number 5 onwards. But before you go to text 5, I want to read the text 4 again, just a translation, because there's a connection between two. Now Krishna is saying in text 4, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. So we had little discussion with Subbu Prabhu last time, and now Krishna says in text 5, Na cha matstani bhutani pashyame yogameshwaram bhut bhrinna cha bhutastho mamatma bhut bhavana. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I'm not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is a very source of creation. In the previous verse, he says, all beings are in me, and I'm not, but I'm not in them. And here in this verse, he says, and yet everything that is created, and everything that is created does not rest in me. Now, if that is not confusing enough, I don't know what is confusion. But that is Krishna. He says, this is my mystic opulence. The Lord says that everything is resting on him. Matstani, Sarvabhutani in fourth verse. This should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of Atlas holding the globe on his shoulders. He seems to be very tired holding this great earthly planet. Such an image should not be entertained in connection with Krishna's holding this created universe. He says that although everything is resting on him, he is aloof. The planetary systems are floating in space, and this space is the energy of the Supreme Lord. But he is different from space. Means he as person, as Shyamsundar Krishna, is different from space. He is differently situated. Therefore the Lord says, although they are situated on my inconceivable energy as a supreme personality of Godhead, I am aloof from them. But at the same time, we have to understand the energy of Krishna and the energetic in spiritual terms, there is no difference. But still, on one level, there is difference. The person Krishna is not there. Of course, energy is his energy. It just like what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, which is simultaneous oneness and difference. Just like all the jivas, are we are spiritual, and we are part and parcel of Krishna. So in that way, we are one with Krishna. But quantitatively, we are different from Krishna. Qualitatively, we are one. But quantitatively, we are different. So it is simultaneous oneness and difference. So similarly, when Krishna says, although they are situated on my inconceivable energy, as a supreme personality of Godhead, I am aloof from them. This is the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. It's very difficult to understand actually, whether Krishna is there or not. Just like when we come to 13th chapter, Krishna says, my hands and eyes are everywhere. Well, that time he is talking about the Paramatma feature, but When his devotees, see, for his devotees, there is a special category. They come in special category. So for his devotees, suppose there are thousands of devotees offering Krishna the foodstuffs, bhoga, at the same time. Now, Krishna, out of love for all of them, he can present himself at every place where his devotees are offering with love. He will come and accept it. Why not? But for rest of the creation, rest of the living entities, he's personally is not there. Just like in Dwarka, 16,108 queens, they're all his devotees, they're all his wives. So he was with them at the same time. Everybody, he was with, in each and every palace, he was there, doing different activities with each and every wife or every family over there. Or for example, Ras Leela. There were billions and billions of gopis, and he personally was there in the middle of two gopis. He was there, and in the middle with Srimati Radharani, he was also there in the middle of Ras Leela. When Brahmaji came and he stole Krishna's cowherd boys and the calves, Krishna expanded himself into as many cowherd boys and as many calves. And he himself expanded. So if he wants, he can. But that's the special feature just for his devotees. That is special relationship with his devotees. He can expand. Brahma Samhita says, Goloke nivasati akhilatma bhuto, Govindam Purusham tamam bhatami. Although he is situated in Golok Vrindavan, but at the same time he is here also with his devotees. But for his creation purpose, he is there as Paramatma or he is there as Brahmjyoti in the form of energy. In the Nirukti dictionary, it is said, Yujyate anena durgateshu kareshu. The Supreme Lord is performing inconceivably wonderful pastimes, displaying his energy. His person is full of different potent energies, and his determination is itself actual fact. In this way, the personality of Godhead is to be understood. We may think of doing something, but there are so many impediments, and sometimes it's not possible to do as we like. But when Krishna wants to do something, simply by his willing, everything is performed so perfectly that one cannot imagine how it is being done. The Lord explains this fact. Although he is the maintainer and sustainer of the entire material manifestation, he does not touch this material manifestation. So he never comes in contact with this material energy. So, but then the question arises, but he appears in this material world. Then Krishna, that's what it says in fourth chapter. He says, I appear in my own internal energy, internal potency. He does not touch the material energy. Only, and everything is created by him, but he is not in it. It means he does not enter, he does not touch. He is always in his spiritual energy. There is no difference between his mind and himself, as there is a difference between ourselves and our present material mind, because he is absolute spirit. Simultaneously, the Lord is present in everything, yet the common man cannot understand how he is also present personally. He is different from his material manifestation, yet everything is resting on him. This is explained here as Yogam Aishwaram, the mystic power of the Supreme Personality of God. And he explains a little bit more in the next verse, text 6. Yathakasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani Matstani iti upadharaya. Understand that as a mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. So just as mighty wind is blowing everywhere, but it rests on sky. The sky is, although the wind rests on sky, the wind is not attached to sky, and the sky is not attached to the wind. It's just a resting place. Similarly, all created beings rest in me. Of course, the connection is not visible to us, but we have to understand. For the ordinary person, it's almost inconceivable how the huge material creation is resting in him. But the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive. And in that sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of the air influences the movement of everything. But although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. The wind is not beyond the sky. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of the Lord. And all of them are subordinate to that supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under His will. By His will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. Still, He is aloof from everything, as the sky is always aloof from the activities of the wind. So nothing can happen without Krishna's will, without Krishna's sanction, and without Krishna's energies taking over, without Krishna's modes of material nature, which are created by Him only, which without them taking over, nothing can happen in this material world. Only thing that can happen without His interference is our desire. That's it. Of course, when we say our desire, first of all, we also come from Him. We are dependent upon Him as a soul also. And our desires will not come from anywhere except His creation, because our desires come from His creation when we associate with His creation in certain way. But still, desires are our product. And then when we desire, Krishna is sitting as Paramatma in our heart. He sanctions it, or sanctions it fully, or 90%, 80%, 60%, 50%, whatever percentage. He sanctions it to get it done, that it will be done. And then material modes of nature, they take over, and then the things gets done to whatever extent Krishna sanctions, Krishna allows. But still, he is aloof from everything. He is not responsible. It's all his energies are working. He has given his energies orders, okay, you act like this, and he himself is doing what? He's enjoying with his gopis and his cowherd boyfriends, and he is busy stealing makhan or lifting Govardhan or killing Kalia or doing whatever activities he wants to do. But everything is happening under his supervision. That's why there was a shlok, Maya Dhyakshen Prakriti, Suyate Sacharaja. Maya Dhyakshen. He says, everything is happening under my supervision. But he himself is not present everywhere. Just like, I mean, it's a crude example, just like Prime Minister Modi, he's a CEO of India right now. But everything that is happening in different departments of the government, different states under the government, and in different states, in different departments, it's all can be considered as energy of Prime Minister, but he himself is not present in each and every department to see what is happening. As I said, it's a crude example because um, some people, if they're taking bribe, obviously they're not informing ODG or taking his permission to do that. But in the material world, if somebody does something, it cannot happen without the sanction of Krishna, without the sanction of Paramatma, who's an aspect of, who's an expansion of Krishna. So this is a way to understand that he personally he is not everywhere. His enemies are everywhere, but nothing can happen without his sanction, without the sanction of Paramatma. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Yad Bhishavata Pavate. It is out of fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, it is said, by the supreme order, under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the moon, the sun, and the other great planets are moving. In Brahma Samhita, it is said, this is a description of the movement of the sun. It is said that sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord, and that it has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the supreme will of Govinda. So, from the Vedic literature, we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This will be further explained in the later verses of this chapter. So Krishna is, by telling us of some of his opulences right now, of course he will tell more of his opulences in chapter 10 and 11. He is getting us, gearing us towards this most confidential knowledge, means the pure devotion service towards him. By us understanding, if we engage ourselves in devotional service towards Krishna, we won't be a loser. Because ultimately it's Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna, everything is controlled by Krishna, everything is maintained by Krishna. There's nothing except Krishna. Of course, we have to have the eyes to see where is Krishna. He's everywhere. So for a devotee, when he sees him, when he serves him, he cannot be a loser, because Krishna will be there to protect him. And Krishna tells in this 9th chapter only. Let's see further. Now he says, text 7. Sarvabhutani konteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshe punastani kalpado visrijamyaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. And at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. So at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. Means everything, when it's annihilated, everything enters Krishna, not personally Krishna, it's Vishnu. It's a service of Mahavishnu to do this creation and destruction. The creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material cosmic manifestation are completely dependent on the supreme will of this personality of Godhead. At the end of the millennium means at the death of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years, and his one day is calculated at 4.3 billion years. His night is of the same duration. Or is it 43 billion? I don't know, I always get confused. His month consists of 30, okay, his night is of the same duration, his month consists of 30 such days and nights, and his year of 12 months. After 100 such years, when Brahma dies, the devastation or annihilation takes place. This means that the energy manifested by the Supreme Lord is again wound up in Himself. Then again, when there is a need to manifest the cosmic world, it is done by His will. Bahushyam, although I am one, I shall become many. This is the Vedic aphorism. He expands himself in this material energy, and the whole cosmic manifestation again takes place. So it's all his energy, this whole cosmic manifestation of whatever we see in the material universe. Basically, it's his energy, and he says in the previous chapter, Bhume Rapanalo Vayu Kammano Buddhirevacha Ahankaritiyamne Bhinna Prakriti Rashtita. This is my 8 separated energies: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. And the whole material cosmos is made of these 8 elements. Of course, at Sankhya Yoga, we study there are 26 or sometimes 28 elements. But basically, they are his energy. 3 modes of material nature, 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 sense objects. When you combine all this, it comes to 26, and then the soul and the super soul, if combined all together, it comes to 28. But what are these 28 elements? Everything is his energy. Everything is coming from him. That's why later on he says, Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravastate. Everything comes from me, Krishna says. So when Arjun was declining to fight, so basically Krishna is saying, this is all my energy. And just serve me by fighting. And then later on in 11th chapter, he showed him all these fighters, all these warriors who have appeared here, they're going to die. Everybody is going to die. Because I have made my decision that they are not going to go back home from this battlefield. So might as well you kill them and take the credit. But on one side, by understanding philosophically that every single thing that we see of comes from him, rests on him, and is be annihilated by him whenever he wants. So it's better to become his devotee. It'll be very much on the safe side. And he is very much capable of taking care of his devotees. Text 8. Prakritim swam avashtabhya visrijani punah punah bhutagramam imam kritsnam avasham prakriter vasham. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. It's the whole cosmic world, cosmic creation. We just look at one little bitty city on one planet Earth, which is part of millions and millions of planets in this one universe. And there are millions and millions of these universes in the whole material creation. And the material creation, material universes are considered in Bhagavatam. The example is given if it's in a big sack of mustard seeds are there, then one mustard seed is one universe, can be represented one universe in which we are living. So this is, we have to understand our situation, our position. Where are we at? We think we are somebody big, we are very important, very significant, and without us, the manifestation or the creation or nothing will happen. If we are not there, everything will stop. Nothing will stop. Krishna's energies will take care of everything. We are nobody actually. Even on this planet Earth, forget about the whole planet Earth. If you're living in Delhi, not even whole Delhi, whatever colony we are living in, whatever society we are living. Suppose we are living in Noida or some other township in Delhi. Even if we look around, who are we even in that township? We are nobody. Forget about the whole Noida. Let's look at Noida. Just look at one of the sectors of Noida. Who are we in that sector? Nobody, hardly maybe 10 or 15 people know us. Forget about the whole sector, just the road that we live in. Who are we? Very insignificant. Just compared to the whole road that we live on. And then just consider the whole city of Noida, the whole country of India, whole planet Earth, all the planets in the universe. And this is just one universe. And this is also one very insignificant universe. Our universe is the smallest one actually. Because here the Brahmaji has only 4 heads. There are universes, bigger, much bigger universes. The Brahmaji has 16 heads, 64 heads, 128 heads. Millions of heads of Brahmaji is also there. A universe with millions of heads. Because those universes are much bigger than this itsy bitsy universe. So actually we are nobody, we are nothing. We think we are very great, we are very significant, we are very important. We are nobodies. So basically, it's again coming down to that we should be coming to the senses, proper senses, understand our position and serve Krishna. This is our only position. Jivera Swarupaya Krishnera Nityadas. We are eternal servants of Krishna. We better engage ourselves in His service. That's all. And this whole cosmic manifestation, it comes from not even from personally from Krishna. It's his expansion of expansion of expansion of expansion of expansion, which is Mahavishnu. He lies down and from his body, from the pores of his body, all the universes come out, and when he inhales, all the universes go back. And this Krishna is saying, the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end. But the will, when we say will, it doesn't mean that he is going to, of course, he can stop it, but will is, it's not like every time he's going to will that this material universe should happen. He has just once given the order and it's been going on. That's it. This material world is a manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose as a Mahatattva, into which the Lord, as his first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, enters. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out innumerable universes. And into each universe, the Lord again enters as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Each universe is in this way created. He still further manifests himself as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact is explained here. He enters into everything. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature. And as a result of the past deeds, they take different positions. Thus, the activities of this material world begin. The activities of the different species of living beings have begun from the very moment of the creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along with the universe. So 8,400,000 species of life are created immediately along with the universe. There's no such theory of evolution that takes place. Men, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created. It's not like Brahmaji only created monkeys and he did not create human beings and now the monkeys are getting evolved into human beings. That's nonsense philosophy. Because whatever desires the living entities had at the last annihilation are again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word avasham that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. They don't even know what kind of body we're going to get. We don't even know what kind of desire we had when we left the body, when we die. Can anybody even be sure of what was my desire, what was my consciousness at the time of death? It's all recorded by Paramatma and obviously different demigods were in charge. Then at the time of when it's time for us to take birth, we are given the body according to our consciousness at the time of death. And our destiny is calculated according to the karmas we have done. Of course, the destiny is changeable to a certain extent. But everything is decided based on our previous karmas and previous consciousness. But we don't know what is happening. We have no idea. And that's why it says, Prakritir avashat. We take birth without any control, helplessly. We have to take birth. The state of being in the past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again. And all this is done simply by his will. He just wills it. And his energies take over and they do all the activities. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after creating different species of life, he has no connection with them. Means he's not attached to any of his creation. In fact, a person who becomes a devotee, or he gets, or whoever gets like spiritually more advanced, little advanced, even he gets detached from the creation, from the material creation. Brahmbhuta prasannatmana shochati nakangshati. So what to speak of Krishna, who's always in that position? How can he get attached? He doesn't get attached. He is completely aloof from his creation. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclinations of the various living entities. And so the Lord does not become involved with it. So he himself does not get involved with the creation and destruction process or the maintenance process, because he has given these services to different incarnations or expansions. Only place he gets involved with when somebody takes up devotion service. Then it becomes personal for him. That's all. Then he is very much involved with that devotee. Just like he's explaining everything to Arjun, because why? Arjun is his devotee. He is standing there explaining everything to Arjun. Not just explaining. He took up his chariot and he drove his chariot. He served his own devotee. This is what he likes to do, to take care of his devotees, to serve his devotees, to protect his devotees, to have intimate relationship with his devotees. That's all his whole activities are. Whether the devotee is Srimati Radharani, whether the devotee is Yashoda Maya herself, or whether the devotee is somebody like Arjuna, or whether the devotee is not even in the human form, like anybody, Hanumanji, Garudji, there's so many. That's all he does, to have relationship, loving pastimes with his devotees. That's all. And rest, everything takes place according to his energies. His energies take care of everything. Text 9. न च मां तानि कर्माणि निवदन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीन वदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु. Oh Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I'm ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. So he's saying all this work cannot bind me because I'm neutral, I'm detached. One should not think in this connection that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no engagement. In his spiritual world, he is always engaged. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Atma Ramasya Tashyati Prakriti na Samagama. He is always involved in his eternal, blissful spiritual activities. But he has nothing to do with these material activities. Material activities are being carried on by his different potencies. The Lord is always neutral in the material activities of the created world. This neutrality is mentioned here with the word Udasinavat. Although he has control over every minute detail of material activities, he is sitting as if neutral. The example can be given of a high court judge sitting on his bench. By his order, so many things are happening. Someone is being hanged, someone is put into jail, someone is awarded a huge amount of wealth, but still he himself is neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain and loss. Similarly, the Lord is always neutral, although he has his hand in every sphere of activity. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is stated, Vaishamya Nargaranya Ya. He is not situated in the dualities of this material world. He is transcendental to these dualities, nor is he attracted to the creation and annihilation of this material. The living entities take the different forms in the different species of life according to their past deeds, and the Lord does not interfere with them. He does not interfere. Of course, it's a living entities, conditioned living entities' nature that we try to blame everything on the Lord if something goes wrong in our life. Oh Bhagwan, तूने मेरे साथ ही ऐसा क्यों किया? Why did you do that with me? He has nothing to do. We are suffering or enjoying our own reactions of our own karmas. That's all. He's not our personal enemy that he'll take a swipe at us with a karmic reaction that we don't deserve. No. As we said, if we analyze it, we are very insignificant. Very, very, very much insignificant. Why would Krishna even look at us? He doesn't need anything from us. In fact, we need him more than he needs us. And not more than. He does not need us. It is our requirement. It is for our benefit that we engage ourselves in his service. It's not that he needs it, he wants it. He cannot live without us. He cannot work without us. There's no such thing. It's all His mercy that He's engaging us in His service. It is for our benefit when we engage ourselves in His service, we get purified and we get eligible to go back to the spiritual world. He has unlimited, even unlimited is a small word for Him. Trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions, unlimited number of covered boys and covered girls and so many assistants of of Yashoda Maya. They are there to serve Him. So basically, He doesn't need us. But just to favors us, to give us some impetus to go back home, back to Godhead. He comes here, does all this activity, does all these pastimes. Of course, he does the pastimes looking like a human being, normal human being, but still his pastimes are supernatural. They're not ordinary pastimes. But he performs these pastimes in this way just to attract us. But we, those who don't have the right intelligence, right mood, then we misunderstand his pastimes and his position. And then we say, oh, he's not a moral person. Morality, we start to define morality on him. Or he is just an ordinary person. What is it? He lifted Govardhan Hill, so what? Big deal. Of course it's a big deal. Can we lift a table on our pinky finger of a left hand and keep it there for 7 days like that? Like Krishna held up Govardhan Hill for 7 days and 7 nights? We can't do that. But this is Krishna. This is his inconceivable potency. We cannot even conceive of what he does and who is he. Next verse, text 10. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena konteya jagad viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So everything, the material nature, Krishna says, my energies and is working under my direction. Maya adhyakshena, maya, mine, adhyakshena means adi means under or under the supervision, and aksha means eyes, or it means senses also. So everything is happening under my direction. It's not beyond me. It's clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord, although aloof from all the activities of the material world, remains the Supreme Director. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Will and the background of this material manifestation, but the management is being conducted by material nature. Krishna also states in Bhagavad Gita that of all the living entities in different forms and species, I am the Father. So this verse will come in 14th chapter. The father gives seed to the wombs of the mother for the child, but similarly the Supreme Lord, by his mere glance, injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature, and they come out in different forms and species according to the last desires and activities. All these living entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated, and everything is created immediately. And when this glance, when he looks over the material nature, even he himself doesn't. It's a service of Mahavishnu. He looks over. Krishna himself doesn't. Because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Lord, but he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person, yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. When the fragrant flower is there, so somebody smells it. But the smelling and the flower are not connected, they're detached. There is similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of God. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot do anything. Many times people say everything is created by nature. How is our body functioning? Oh, it's the nature. How is the wind blowing? Oh, it's the nature. No, it's not the nature only. Because Krishna directly says this whole material nature is working under my direction. So without Krishna supervising it, the nature cannot act on its own. Yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities. This is amazing. He's not at all attached. Even if we are doing some service, we get attached to it. Even if it is Nishkam karma, we still get attached to the service. Krishna says he's not attached, he's aloof. That is the beauty of Krishna. So anyway, we'll stop here, see anybody have any questions or comments, and would expect something from Subbu Prabhu, especially it's his birthday today.
Prabhuji, just a small question. I think this has been a source of bother for a lot of people, I guess. Definitely for me. You know, this theory of evolution in science that we have been educated upon, I don't know for since how long, where our ancestors were supposed to be monkeys and we were evolved from hunchback monkeys to straight back humans, from four-legged to two-legged and all. It seems to have nothing to do with what the Vedas say. As you say,
No.
there are 8.4 million species. So monkeys are separate species and humans are separate. So it's not humans evolving from monkeys is something that is quite laughable as far as Veda is concerned. So what is your take on this?
Prabhupada has explained it. First of all, if you go to Darwin's theory of evolution, first he says there was single cell organism. Now, where did the single cell organism come from? From the combination of chemicals, which is nonsense to begin with. Life does not come from chemicals. Life comes from life. When a male and female species they interact, they produce a third species, third person, third entity. That they don't. It's not the chemicals interacting and producing a living entity. Cannot never happen. But anyway, that's a theory. And then he says, from single cell organism, they combine together and double cell organism was formed. Again, not possible, because so far, whenever we see in the real life, when two single cell organisms are interacting, they're producing another single cell organism only. So from double cell organism, he says multiple cell organisms were formed. Again, nonsense. And then slowly, they're evolving. Okay, when they're evolving, why we still find the single cell organisms? Cannot explain. Cannot explain. And then slowly, survival of the fittest, and then he comes out. Okay, so from amoeba, slowly, double cell, multiple cell, uh, small organisms to bigger. Then all of a sudden, monkeys came into picture. And as you said, monkeys, then different varieties of monkeys, and slowly, they became human beings. How? Why do we still find monkeys then? Why he said there is a missing link? Still, nobody has found the missing link because there is no link. And why human beings are not evolving into something else? He cannot explain. They are still finding. There's a wonderful book by ISKCON devotees only. They were scientists, uh, Forbidden Archaeology. So in that book, they have written proof. They have proof. Actually, this proof has been collected by historians only, but they are hiding the facts because otherwise Darwin's theory will be tossed out of the window. They have found many artifacts which are billions and billions of years old. And just like balls were formed or cups were found in the digging, and when they did the carbon dating, so it was billions of years old. So if the ball is formed, which is billions of years old, means the human beings were there who made these balls. Animals don't make balls. Animals don't make cups. It's only human beings do. So human beings did exist at that time. But because the followers of Darwin, they don't want to admit it, they don't want this thing to come out in public, so they hide these facts. In fact, this evolution, when they talk about evolution, scientists themselves, they say, even in our body, this eye, if you just look in one organ, eye, the whole structure of eye is so complicated. It it is not at all possible for it to just come out of evolution without somebody designing it. It has to be exactly designed. Then and then only it can be formed like that. But, but this is what we are taught in the school, and even the teachers don't know any better, so they just teach us. We just cram the whole subject and we just somehow get the passing marks, and then we forget about it. This is nonsense, actually.
So true. In fact, when you talk about us being in the seventh manvantra of this kalpa, Shweta Varaha kalpa. So now you are talking about 1,000 Mahayugas, which is 4.32 billion years. So for just one kalpa, and you are talking about one kalpa being equivalent to half a day of Brahma, which is twice. Two kalpa means one kalpa and pralaya together constitutes one day of Brahma. And we
Yeah.
have had 52 years of Brahma,
Yeah.
almost 51 years or something like that. And 100 years of Brahma is actual life. So just imagine the trillions and trillions and trillions of years of life we have had human beings. So we are not even going that far back. We are just talking about this Mahayuga itself.
Yeah, even if you just look at this one, 7th
Yeah.
Manu, 28th Dwapar Yuga, just calculate rest of the. They just can't fathom the numbers here. They cannot understand. And they say, oh, a human being as we know existed only 10,000 years ago.
And we are talking about um, uh, Dwapar Yuga and what is that?
Treta Yuga, Satyug.
Treta Yuga itself, and Treta Yuga itself, what, 20 lakh years ago or
Yeah.
something like that? And
Yeah.
even if you don't take the Krita Yuga, the first Yuga, 20 lakh is like 2 million.
Yep.
And that is in this Mahayuga itself, not even 27th, in the 28th Mahayuga.
Yeah.
So what numbers are we talking about? It's ridiculous. And they, as you rightly said, why are then all monkeys not human beings? So,
Yeah.
survival of the fittest and natural selection obviously has got a lot of theories behind it. I mean, if
they are not even theory, they were hypothesis. They're not even proved.
So we don't have to worry about the contradictions, isn't it? Just we stick to Vedas, what they say, that's all.
Actually, there is no contradiction. It's just nonsense versus the fact. What is the contradiction?
Thanks, Prabhuji.
I mean, these two theories, so-called theories, Big Bang and Darwin's theory, completely ridiculous, completely.
Yes.
But this is what they teach us in the school, and just to pass the subject, we study and we get out. That's it.
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
Prabhuji, then you just said that they are wrongly, they are teaching in schools. So, but then if our children will going to ask this question, that is it true, or how it, how it was, how it was, the evolution we are talking about, then we should tell them that this is not a fact. They are being, the course, whatever written in the books are not correct. I mean, is it a right way to tell them, or shall we say that no, this is absolutely correct, and you just mug up and give your exams?
Actually, it has happened because young students, they learn from devotees about this theory of evolution. And when they go back to the school and then they question the teacher, and the teacher get upset, how come you know more than I do? So when they question them, why this, why that, and teachers themselves, they don't know. So yes, it's our duty to teach our kids the right knowledge, but also it's our duty to tell them, hey, Baba, the teacher doesn't know, and this is in the course, so better, whatever they're teaching, just mug it up, clear your exam, but don't follow it.
But then they will get the impression that whatever written in the books are not correct. So then it will not give a good impression of our education system.
Well, in a way, it is good. So they learn the right thing, and hopefully somebody will come up and change the education system.
Well, because why I'm asking this, when my son comes back from school and then he tells me, Mama, आज मैंने ये पढ़ा, आज मैंने वो सीखा, so I motivate him, I praise him कि very good, आज आपने क्लास में ध्यान दिया, जो मैम ने सिखाया वो आपने. अब यहाँ पे अगर गलत ही पढ़ा रहे हैं तो उसको तो then there is no point motivating him or praising him, क्योंकि आप तो गलत सीख के आए हो स्कूल से.
But only these two theories, Big Bang and the evolution, they're completely nonsense actually. So you can teach him the right thing. You should teach him the right thing.
And Prabhuji, if you allow me, in fact, Mataji, I'll share with you one of my experience. In fact, last year during vacation, we went to the National Museum, which is there near to Rashtrapati Bhavan. And in fact, we all have that in history. There's our cultures. So, in fact, it was a 4,000-year-old broken pot, in fact, that they have kind of conserved, and Indus Valley civilization and all those things. So, in fact, I and Vihan were there, smaller one, of course, very small. But then the class, ISKCON classes, here Krishna ji came around 5,000 years back. So he started questioning, भगवान जी तो 5,000 साल पहले आए थे, 4,000 साल पुराना है, तो क्या उस समय क्या करते थे? तो yes, we had a very good laugh. तब कुछ नहीं करते थे, देखो इन लोग हैं. Then end of the day he understood. यार ये ठीक है, historian because of their lack of knowledge ये ऐसे कर रहे हैं, and we have to study. So which means कि civilization came only 3,000-4,000 years back, whereas Lord Krishna and Lord Rama were uncivilized. So now he understands, but because you have to be civilized, you don't question your teachers, like Prabhuji rightly said. But then I think students are also smart. ISKCON mein understand, they have, in fact, these classes are actually very helpful. So though, in fact, today's philosophy will be little tougher for them, But the way Prabhuji explained, in fact, if they hear to the recordings now, it becomes clearer to them, and they also question the right thing. So National Museum was an eye opener. In fact, उधर में जाओगे आप देखो 4,000 साल पुराना, and they are so kind of beautifully depicted. The great बात का एक picture बनाया हुआ, तो मतलब कि 5,000 years पहले बात नहीं लेते थे.
And this is only Krishna. I mean, if you talk about Lord Ram, that he
Yes.
appeared 20 lakh years ago.
Yes.
Then they'll say, oh, it's all mythology. That's what this is, all mythology. Because they cannot understand. It's not my. But this is our education system. What can you do?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We have one question I have. So it's about quite beautifully you've explained in today's class that God is everywhere. I mean, He saves the devotees from all the obstacles, all the dangers. But and we have seen in Ramayana, and we have seen that monsters are there, and Lord Rama is killing them. But in today's world, we have monsters in the form of humans who have a really good brains, and they manipulate, they do conspire against people. So how, let's suppose a devotee is entangled in all this conspiracy, and so how God saves him?
Well, in this yuga, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And if in Kali Yuga he had to kill the demons, then he would be killing everybody, because everybody has this demonic tendency in this Kali Yuga. So Nityananda Prabhu actually reminded him of that when he was going to kill Jagai and Madhai. Nityananda Prabhu said, you didn't appear in this incarnation to kill the demons. You appeared to kill their demonic propensity. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started this Sankirtan Yagya, Sankirtan movement. By participating in this, it kills the demoniac propensity and it develops the devotional propensity of a person. So this is the right incarnation for Kali Yuga, because at the end of Kali Yuga, when Kalki Avatar comes, there won't be any preaching. He will be basically killing everybody, all the demons, and everybody will be left. They'll be basically demons. So we cannot expect that everybody to be killed. So all we have to do is propagate this Sankirtan movement that will slowly kill the demonic tendency of people, and devotional abilities will be prospered, developed, and that will be the right thing to do in Kali Yuga.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Prabhuji, if you allow me 1 minute more, in fact, on the
Yes, yes.
survival of the fittest, in fact, I think day before yesterday, we had a small discussion at office. Somebody kind of jokingly had taken out this topic. So, in fact, I'm sure everybody would believe, in fact, in today's world as well, look at only the office, not beyond that. In fact, survival of the fittest means people who would have real knowledge to do the work. But then who is the survivor these days? One who is kind of into all sort of other activities rather than work. I just told everybody jokingly, look at the people who are managing you. In fact, do you think they have good knowledge? It's only by virtue of words and those things that they kind of prosper. So fittest order to theory itself is kind of gone. No longer survival of the fittest. Who can deceive will survive.
Well, basically, they are fit to do buttering, and that's what they survive.
Yes, and deceive.
Or deceive. Or politicize, or play politics. They are fit to play politics. That's why they survive. But that's not the right thing. It's not the right philosophy anyway. Not the right theory. It's not at all.
Absolutely, Prabhuji. And we are so grateful that early in the morning, in fact, we get to hear the nectar from you. Prabhupada has given it to us, and you so nicely explained to us, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for that.
Well, I try. Thank you, Prabhuji. And Subbu Prabhu, happy birthday again. You enjoy your day today, chanting 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thanks for
Krishna.
this great lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I
Hare
will do it.
Krishna.
I'll read 18. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila.